In 2026, most AIs still depend on us all the time. You ask, correct, adjust, and repeat the process. But little by little, this scenario is changing. GLM 5.1 promises to do exactly the opposite. You set the goal, and it takes care of the rest. It's almost an autonomous system that can improve itself over time, without human intervention, or at least close to that. So, before I show you this new marvel coming from China, subscribe to the channel. And to watch the videos without ads, just click the join button. Deal? So, let's get to the video. But first, I want to show you a practical way to prepare for the future without having to stop everything you're already doing. Coursera is one of the largest online education platforms in the world and works together with companies like Google, IBM, and Meta to offer courses that really help. Here's the most important point. These aren't just theoretical courses. You learn by doing, developing skills that companies are looking for right now. For example, within the platform, you can find complete programs like the Google Professional Certificate in Data Analysis, Project Management, and even Artificial Intelligence for beginners. In fact, Google's AI program within Coursera was created specifically to help you apply AI in your day-to-day work, using real tools like Gemini and other modern solutions. In other words, you don't just learn how to use AI, you learn how to create solutions with it. Another strong point is flexibility. You can study at your own pace, fit the courses into your routine, and make progress without having to leave your job or completely change your schedule. And in the end, you still receive certificates recognized by major companies, which can open real doors in your career. So, if you want to stay relevant, grow professionally, or even change fields, this is the kind of skill that's already being required now. So, it's worth taking a look at the link down below in the description and seeing how these courses can fit your situation and change your professional life. Alright, let's get back. Well guys, today I want to share with you the news that was announced here by the folks at Z.ai, which is GLE 5.1. Listen up. Introducing GLE 5.1, the next level of open source. Top-notch performance. Number 1 in open source and number 3 globally in SWE Bench Pro, Terminal Bench, and NL2 Ripple. Designed for long-term tasks, it operates autonomously for 8 hours, refining strategies through thousands of interactions. So, in these comparisons they show here, GLE 5.1 appears in third place globally. When we look at SWE Bench Pro, it's in first place, ahead of GPT 5.4, Claude Opus 4.6, and QEM 3.6+. Here on the blog, there are some very interesting things they say here. GLM 5.1 towards long-term tasks. GLM 5.1 is our next generation model for agent engineering with coding capabilities. More robust coding than its predecessor. So, for complex software engineering tasks using SWE Bench Pro, GLM 5.1 scored 58.4 ahead of GPT 5.4, Opus 4.6, and Gemini 3.1 Pro. When we look at agentic coding, it scored 69 points. Also ahead here of Opus 4.6 and Gemini 3.1 Pro, falling behind only GPT 5.4. As for repository generation, it scored 42.7, falling behind only Opus 4.6. And finally, in cybersecurity, it is in first place here, once again ahead of all the other competitors. Then, they show some other demonstrations here that show the full capabilities of this new model. But the one I found most impressive is this one here, which is in video format. Why? I'll show you in a moment. In this video demonstration, they are asking GLM 5.1 to create a replica of Linux with 50 fully functional applications. And the most interesting thing is that everything happens here over 8 hours. So they show the application that was created in the first hour. It's something simple and all. In the second hour, things were already ramping up. So you have some applications there that are already working and all. They are really cool, just like the Linux operating system. After the third, fourth, or fifth hour, these applications become more and more responsive. You have a website you can access, a simulation of Telegram there, so it keeps improving itself. And after 8 hours, GLM 5.1 delivered a replica of the Linux operating system with 50 applications, all of them functional. So, What is the idea they wanted to convey here? It's that the model improves itself. It can perform these interactions without human intervention. And this is very interesting because they gave just a single prompt, and from that prompt, they managed to improve what was created in the first hour. So, over the course of 8 hours, a simple web application that would have stopped there with any other model was improved until it reached a point where you had a replica of the operating system with 50 applications totalmente funcionais. Guys, this could be the beginning of a fully autonomous model that can identify what it did, point out mistakes, suggest improvements, and execute everything automatically. Well, so how can you access it? First, through the API. So, how much does this API cost? Z.I itself shows the prices here. GLM 5.1 costs $1.40 for input and $4.40 for output. What about this new model? At least at the time I'm recording this video. It's still not showing up in the chat, which is what they're saying here. GLM 5.1 will be available on Z.ai in the next few days. So, if you come here to the chat and click on the model selector, we only have GLM 5 Turbo GLM 5 and GLM 5V Turbo. 5.1 is not available here. If you want to use it via API, you can choose the GLM coding plan here. How much does it cost? $10 per month, which is the plan I have. After you subscribe, you'll create an API key and you can use it with any tool you want, like Kilo, which I use at home and I think is pretty cool. After you install Kilo code, notice that I'm using GLM 5.1 here to connect via API, spacebar connect, then you'll type z.ai here and then enter your API key. From then on, whenever you use the tool, the credits will be deducted from your GLM coding plan. But there's another option for you to use without having to pay anything, and this can be done through the old Arena AI, LM Arena. So, you'll create a free account here on LM Arena or Arena AI. To use it, just choose the direct mode here. Then, here in the models, you'll type GLM and GLM 5.1 will show up. And then, by activating the coding mode here, you can create whatever you want without having to pay anything. Starting here in Arena, I used this prompt to try to emulate what they achieved in the video, which is creating an operating system that replicates Linux. And I used this prompt here. Build a Linux-style desktop environment as a web application with apps, programs, functions, and everything the operating system requires. And this was the result. I have files here and a functional little window here. I can minimize, I can maximize, expand, all working perfectly. Terminal, which I can also use here to type. Text editor, and actually, look how interesting. If I type anything here, I can save it to my computer by clicking this button. So, until today, I hadn't been able to create an application like this that could save things to my computer. I also have here a fully functional browser. For now, I just can't access the web through it. But if I interact with it a bit there, I'm sure it'll work. I also have a calculator, an activity monitor here. Notice that it works here. Generating the graphs in real time here in the settings, I can change the wallpaper. Pretty cool, right? In this other example here, I asked it to create a 3D version of an environment. And look how interesting. I'm here during the day. I can switch to night. Then I can view it here from all angles. Then I can add furniture. Let's say I want to put a chair. I click and the chair automatically comes here. I can also rotate the chair and I can delete a plant. Look, I placed the plant here. I can also rotate it, move it forward or to the side. And then I keep adding items. I placed a lamp here. This is amazing because he built a completely interactive 3D environment where I can not only add objects but also delete them. Look, I have this shelf here. If I don't want it anymore, I just click here on the X. Then I asked him to also create a replica of the River Hide game. Do you remember it? Check out how this first version turned out here inside LM Arena. This one doesn't have sound because I didn't ask to add sound effects. But I thought the interface turned out really cool. However, in the other version I made here using Kilo code, I did ask to add sound effects. And check out the result. Look, there are also gas stations here. I can speed up. This one looks great, and this other version with sound effects has a different vibe, right? I fueled up, I'm going to speed up, and then I died. I thought it turned out amazing. Even though this interface I got here inside LM Arena is cooler, the result using the API inside Kilo Code was closer to what I wanted. Because I have sound effects here, and the gameplay turned out a little better. So, taking advantage of the Artemis 2 mission, I asked GLM 5.1 to make an application for me, exactly with the spacecraft leaving Earth, passing by the moon, and returning. So here I have the view from the spacecraft. Look how cool. Here I have the lunar approach and here the overall view. With the controls down here fully functional. So I can fast forward, rewind, basically put it at any part of the mission I want. And notice that here on the side I also have the step-by-step of the mission. So I can click through and it will take me to that specific moment. To achieve an application of this level, what did I do? I came here to Gemini and said the following. What were the mathematical calculations used during the Artemis 2 mission? From the orbits around the Earth to the rendezvous with the moon and the return. Then it searched the internet, managed to find all the mathematical calculations, and so on. I copied all this information, came here to code, pasted it, and from there it was able to create this simulation for me, which I found fantastic because the model was able to interpret the mathematical codes to give me this result here. And finally, using key code here as well, I asked it to create a simulation of a 3D printer that should print an apple, and this was the result. Look, I have my 3D printer here. I can view the angles, rotate the camera here, zoom in, zoom out, and the printer keeps building the apple. I can increase the speed, and in the end, it even added the little stem to the apple. Remember that what is being shown here is what they call a one-shot result. I gave the command and it delivered this to me. I didn't make any further changes to improve the code. So this was on the first try. So guys, give it a try. As you saw, it's not available in the chat yet, but if you have a coding plan, you can use your API key. Or, if you don't want to pay anything, go to LM Arena, choose the GLM 5.1 model, and create whatever you want. Because here, in this environment, you don't have to pay anything. So try it out and then come back here in the comments to tell me what vocês acharam do GLM 5.1. So, did you like the new GLM? Can you already use it in your daily life without depending on ChatGPT, Gemini, and the whole crew? Let me know in the comments, okay? I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.